Hello, hello. Hi, Selena. Just taking a moment to settle. Um, I just finished a meeting with Gab and Serenity, our team meeting. And I think Joaquin is still there. So people will be joining in a little bit late. But yeah, happy Monday. How are you doing?
Um, I feel like I have like a lot of challenges right now. I feel like topsy-turvy,
Mm.
and I feel like I got sick after the retreat, and then I feel like I'm catching it again. It's a little frustrating, but I'm trying to have like a positive attitude. And I feel messy again, but I'm trying to be in the mess and be positive. It's like I keep skipping, like I miss something, or like it just it's messy, but it's okay. I am learning
Mm.
a lot, and I'm just trying to like stay positive.
Challenges with health.
Yeah.
Feeling it and maybe some disorientation. Like whenever I feel congested, I feel fog in my brain. So then things are like slipping between the fingers and
Yeah.
but still on this path.
Right.
Aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
So yeah.
Cool.
But you said you guys were having a meeting, and everybody was going to come in a little late.
Yeah, maybe Joaquin will be joining us a little bit late and whoever else decides to join us. I know that YTT practicum feels like a charged class because it's like, am I going to be expected to do something? But I think like last week, this class is definitely a class where I think it's a chance to connect, like talk. How are we doing? Because as teachers, this is kind of how we learn a lot from one another. Like,
Mhm.
this check-in from one another and then like dial down on what's interesting is always going to be on like the discussion of like, oh, this is interesting and this is confusing and blah, 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 like over results, which is like, you have to be able to teach this by the end of today. Like that's like,
Mhm.
we realize like that's not exactly supportive.
Mhm. Yeah, you're cutting in and out, or freezing, I should say. Hello, you're frozen, Christine. Oh, there you are.
Is it getting better? No. Hi.
Okay. You keep freezing every couple of minutes, then it
I
comes
wonder if
back.
it's my internet. Like I've had to reset my internet several times today
Yeah.
on here. Okay. But basically saying that the priority of like the YTT practicum is just gathering and being teachers together and discussing. And if we want to push the needle forward, we will. We'll always offer it, but we don't like teaching is not the only way to term success at the end of this class. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I think it's just so important to feel supported as a teacher because we're all going through deep transformation.
Yeah, I that's how I feel like. I feel like I'm just more so than the learning the yoga and having that teacher mindset.
hmm
Like this is I'm just not there. I get glimpses, which is very uplifting and it's very exciting, but I honestly thought that I was going to go through this and I was going to be like, yeah, yeah, I'm going to get certified, but it's been so much more for me, and my growth, and so very needed that it is a little surprising. Yeah, I didn't think, and I do feel like it's a lot. But like I said before, I think what I love the best is that, we're getting what we need each and every moment of the day. And whenever we're, like you said, when we're ready is when that sacredness comes in, and it's in perfect timing, perfect
Hmm.
alignment. Yeah. And not to rush that. Yeah.
No, yeah, there's definitely that idea that we can't rush this process,
Yeah.
especially because this school is very deep.
Hmm.
Welcome, Andrel. I just wanted to make sure that you feel welcome. I know you're probably at work, but we're just kind of talking about like a different set of expectations because I last week it was brought up that YTT practicum has a lot about it because people feel like of a certain caliber of teaching to come to this class and to have taught and teach by the end of aspect and a goal that we have for all of you. It's not, oh man, am I unstable again? It's not the goal. It's not the only way to term success, and it's being here for one another. The we're learning is super important. Um, and then being in supported space for one another, with always the option to push the needle forward if you're like, I really want to try this script today. Because sometimes people like Joaquin, who's in active teaching, is like, what does this sound like? You know, and you realize, like, oh, this is how we support each other. So I want us to shift YTT practicum into a feeling of support, rather than performance or like performance based. Um, if you have anything you want to add, Andrel, about how you're feeling, go ahead and feel free to unmute or put it in the chat.
Hey,
Um, hey,
what was the question? I'm sorry, I was helping my grandma.
there was just like how you're feeling, or if there's any, tell the group about your week, your day, how you're feeling in the teachings.
Yeah, I feel like overall I'm feeling good. Um, but I got completely behind, so I don't even know where I am in the timeline. I'm just going with the flow and taking what comes at me at this time. Um, but one day I do need to like sit down and go like tally everything I did because I'm bad at that. I want to go into the school and like check mark everything that's completed so I really know what I've done already.
Hmm.
But besides that, I feel like I'm doing good. And yeah, I really realized what a yoga teacher training is. Jeez.
Deep transformation, life
Right.
transformation.
Right. So I feel like I definitely loved that I went through this training, but now I want to do the actual, action part. I feel like it kind of just cracked me open and I was just focusing on like self transformation for a while.
Yeah,
So I think I need to do yoga now.
yeah. Feel free to schedule me for like let's do a workspace one-to-one, and then
Hmm.
we can just go through everything, no judgment, because I mean, everybody does the flow thing because curriculum
Hmm.
moves, and like we can see
Hmm.
together where you're at, and then like instead of just being overwhelmed of like, fuck, what do I do? I can be like, just start here, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think I love the fact that we do online yoga. So it's accessible to everybody. But for my personal practice, I think I need to go back in person. So I've
Yeah.
been trying to get back in person, because I just haven't been moving my body at all. I feel like because I'm online, I'm at work sometimes.
Mm.
So I just need to get back moving.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel it, the need to get back moving. I know that this last weekend, I had 2 days of not being able to be in my own like
Hmm.
personal practice. I
Hmm.
was able to do like a sun A for myself, and I was like, that has to be it. But I do feel like the little bit of the swirl. So I understand that. And
Hmm.
taking in-person classes is totally a part of pushing the needle forward.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you can tally all those classes and then it will count towards the 60 asana classes. So it's not gonna hurt you at all to take in
Yes.
person or online recorded.
Yes. And it's so fun now seeing how much Sun A and Sun B is incorporated. Like when you go to, because before yoga teacher training, I didn't really like catch that, but Sun A is in part of everything.
It's like secretly embedded into the entirety of all things.
Yeah, yeah. So I do feel good about my Sun A
I'm
actually.
saying Sun A, if you just get Sun A and you can do anything else in between, like there's a world of transformation waiting for you. It's amazing.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
been
add
cool.
the lunge from Sun B and that chair pose. Like come on, there's so much there. Uh,
Yes, so that's been cool seeing that in person again. Hmm.
I love that. I love that you're having this like realization of like, holy shit, I'm
Hmm.
recognizing something I've learned
Yes,
embedded everywhere in yoga.
yes.
That's cool. Cool. Sending you a lot of love to you and taking care of your grandma. I hope it's all good there too.
Yes, yes, yes. She's just getting older, so her needs
Yeah.
increase.
And I think we don't know how much time we have with our loved ones until the time starts ticking. And so the caregiving side of me that has been there for others is totally feeling for you and anyone else. I know, Selena, you're also doing a lot of caregiving, so big hearts to both of you. Let's take care of ourselves now. Let's do a little bit of a drop-in meditation if you're able to. If you're in the middle of doing stuff, that's okay. You can still meditate. And let's just come home to ourselves and keep it really that simple. So find yourself into a nice meditative seat. Take a few moments to establish yourself. For me today, I have like a nice little candle that I'm having by my side. Um, Maybe you have like warm water or something that you need to land you in this moment. Go ahead and take that for yourself. Or maybe it's just about landing. And then whenever you feel ready, just go ahead and feel into your exhale, the down breath, the apana vayu breath that lands us into our seat. And then just begin to allow yourself to really feel into the down action of breathing and sending every inhale deep into the bowl of your pelvis and maybe even further into the earth. And then on that exhale, just a settling of your body also deep into the earth. And there is this quality of prana shakti, the energy of the mother that comes forward when we take this down. breath. A quality of prana shakti that takes care, that is forever patient, an infinite well of deep compassion for all that we are, all that we do. An infinite well of forgiveness and understanding, found deep with every down breath, the apana vayu breath. And then just kind of notice what this deep, forgiving, compassionate, held, mother-like feeling is inside your bones. This compassionate, expansive feeling inside your muscles. And even allowing the scalp of your hair to feel like a gentle wave of relaxation and softening. And then allowing this softening of the scalp, like almost like warm oil being poured over your head. And it's a beautiful smell. It's the your favorite fragrance, like maybe it's lavender or rose. And then allowing that soft honey-like feeling to melt down the back of your throat. This soft honey-like feeling to melt down across your heart space. A healing elixir for your lungs. And just allowing all the mucosal layers of your throat, your lungs, and your heart to feel juicy, moist. And then letting this honey, this nectar of the Apana Vayu breath, the mother, to come across your diaphragm, allowing your breath to feel soft and comforting. And that same honey, the same healing elixir to massage the lining of your belly and all the organs, the liver, the stomach, pancreas, kidneys, large and small intestines, everything in between. Pancreas, appendix, down into your sex organs, maybe uterus, down across the skin of your legs, your thighs, all the way into your toes. And just allow yourself to feel this honey dripping feeling coming from your scalp down to your toes for a couple rounds of breathing. And then place all your awareness into the place underneath your belly button. Option to place one or two hands right across your womb. And just allow yourself to receive this moment of being. That prana shakti doesn't have one direction of success. It's not just vertical, a progression of upward productivity that defines this divinity. That prana shakti works in deeper, more mysterious ways of the spiral. And so in this moment, like offering yourself like immense compassion for your two-step, your dance in life. And seeing every door that's opened or closed as another opportunity. And then take a nice deep breath out, pressing the belly towards the spine just to expel old air. And then take a full body breath in. And then an exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 6. Exhale for 8. And if a sigh comes across you, let it happen. And then visualize a deep breath in through your left lung, even if it's just a visualization. And then a visualization of exhaling through your right lung. And then an inhale through your right lung, right nostril. And then an exhale for 8 through the left nostril. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full body breath in through the nose. And a clearing breath out. And then begin to just move your pelvis or your hips in any way that pleases you. Little hip circles, little whine of the hips in different directions if that feels nice. And then bring that into your heart space, a nice little gentle wave of the spine, maybe cat cow, or little heart circles. Mm. Taking that into our shoulders, some really nice divine prana shakti, shoulder circles, forward or back. And then feeling your seat onto the earth and lifting your arms up overhead for a nice good morning stretch. And then an exhale to cactus the elbows, shoulders away from ears, heart presses a little bit forward. And then bring your hands towards your heart to close, bowing down towards your thumbs to sternum. And then having a moment with the divine heart, Hridaya, the innermost layer of our heart, the infinite source of prana shakti. And then setting any sort of intention for the rest of your day, just an intention of care, maybe. And then taking one last deep breath in through the nose to come back and letting it all go. Ooh, feeling into the body and returning to our cameras or yeah, our moment here in class. Yay. Welcome back. Um, so let's continue discussion because discussion is really the best way to learn. Did we have any moments this week with pranayama? Like, did we experience the breath differently, even if we didn't do an actual pranayama practice for ourselves? Did we have a moment while we were washing the dishes where we're like, oh, I'm noticing my breath different. I'm gonna change it. Or did we practice? Did we feel the cooling breath? Did we have a moment where we were like, "Oh, I really need to calm down." Just like uh any experiences this week with the breath.
I actually did. I didn't practice, but I was a lot more aware of when my body was already heated and what I needed. And instead of I do a lot of friction breathing. I forgot what it's called. The
Ujjayi. Yeah.
Ujjayi, because I was trained. That was my first class in anything spiritual. I went to a meditation and they did a lot of that. And only that. So it was a natural thing. And so I was able to really pay attention quite a few times where I was like, no, I need cooling breath. I and I was remembering, when it was necessary for cooling breath, or when it was when I needed to be warmed up and heated. So that was interesting. That really resonated. I mean, that really stuck with me this week. Our teachings from last time.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
And so you're feeling a deeper connection to even your Ujjayi breath.
Hmm.
Um, this week I also noticed in I took many yoga classes this week. I had the very lovely, energetic ability to be like, okay, I'm just gonna take as many yoga classes as I can. And also I just happened to be stuck in a lot of places where I was like, well, I have nothing to do. And for me, realizing like how many teachers don't teach ujjayi or they just mention it. Um, and then realizing also um, how it naturally comes into my own practice, regardless of teachers teaching it. So I'm having this like experience of seeing what's alive in the yoga pool recently. Because I think when something is usual for us, like it can go undetected, like you just do something like an itch. Like if you've ever had eczema, like you don't really notice sometimes when you do that really quick because you're like, oh, I'm anxious, and then you just like scratch your neck. And then somebody talks about it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, I just like I keep doing that. And how amazing it is actually to start to notice our habits with breath, um, our own personal practices, and how that provides like a gateway for like utilizing it different, right? Because then now you were just like, oh, but then I recognize like when cooling breath would be more helpful. Um, I found that I'm just going to add on just because we're discussing. I found that for me, my when I wake up in the morning, my left nostril is usually super, super clear. And it's my right nostril that I'm needing to really like fire up, right? Turn on my Agni. Um, but I noticed that if I do an Agni breath, it's really super beneficial for me to finish with like a long cooling breath or a long exhale through to return me back to my lunar channel so that I can feel chill again. Um, and how beneficial a box breath is. I know that's a lot more on the balancing side, and we'll be getting to that starting today at 1 p.m. But I know, and I would like to really say that box breathing samavriti and goes really well hand in hand with our cooling practices. Um, so yeah.
Christine, could you remind me? Because I'm most of the time very stuffed up on my right,
Mm.
and I think it was yesterday my left was. And
Stuffy.
so, what did because Gabe went over that when we were at the retreat, and we were doing yoga, so I didn't couldn't write it down. But when our right is stuffed, our nostril is stuffed up, it's we need to be active. We need um, like normally yoga will like balance that out, and then we do all of our breath work and stuff after that. But and meditation. But what was the left one? What is the? Because I know it's this. I forgot. It's the sun and the moon. I
Hmm.
need to remember that part. I need to study those.
Yeah. And it's always like reiteration that like helps us remember. Our left nostril is what puts us into the parasympathetic, so a calm state, a clear mind. It helps to us to open up to our intuition. It's also like much sleepier. Um, but I really want to say that our lunar channel is more about the deep relaxation, a closer connection to uh, mm, closer connection to our spiritual experience. I would say any kind of breathing brings us towards mental clarity, but it's the calmness that what our left nostril, our lunar side, with the mental clarity that we are really gaining there. Calmness plus mental clarity versus like in our right nostril, we are gaining a mental clarity, but we're also gaining a rajas, a feeling of higher energy, of like the action of doing. So I even want to say like our left nostril is more like the being, right? The calm state of being. And then the right nostril is the clear, also mental clarity on both ends, mental clarity, especially if they're both balanced, but it's more rajasic, it's more action oriented. And so, like, correct, if we are kind of stuffed up on our right nostril, that's a really good sign for us to be like, hey, if we can sweat it out or move prana a little bit, turn on the agni, turn on the flame of our body, make it hot a little bit, some plank, some lunges like that, make it hot in our body, then we'll be able to clear up that right nostril. Yeah. Both nostrils, but you know what I'm saying? Like if we're focusing on Agni, that's the right channel. So just again and again, we'll just keep reiterating it in different ways to understand it with the English, with the Sanskrit, with all of that.
So the left is the lunar
Hmm.
side, the lunar moon, meaning moon, the moon
Hmm.
side, and then the right is the sun.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And I like that you
Lunar.
said doing and the being.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm glad that that resonated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Andro, yeah, it's discussion time on pranayama practices. If you have like any breath stuff that you've noticed this week or tried anything, feel free to like chime in on the chat. Um, and then so going for let's just like reiterate just so that we're in the knowledge of things. I'm gonna share my screen. Share screen. Okay, back into school. Just so that we remember, we've been in the energizing breath, sun. We talked about ujjayi, our friction breath, containing the heat, and all of these about 2 weeks ago. And then we were just in the calming breath with the moon. And so just reiteration, right? Practice and repetition. Chandra Bedana was the breath in and out of the left nostril. So you keep the right nostril completely plugged. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. When we're teaching, if we're having a teaching lens on Chandra Bedana, we are teaching a lunar practice, or maybe we had a lot of fire in our class, high asana, and then at the end of class, we want to cool them all down, prepare them for shavasana. Shavasana, deep rest, Chandra Bedana, any of these might be nice, right? Chandra has the cooling effects, the mental clarity, and the balance. Key point is that you exhale longer than the inhale. Always right nostril plugged up. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8, 7, 6. When we're teaching, here's a teaching cue or tip. Anytime we're teaching pranayama, breath work, we're always counting down. We're never counting up. Because when you're counting up, 1, 2, 3, 4, your students don't know when the end is. That's anxiety inducing. But if we're always counting down, they always know it'll be ending soon. They'll be right with us. Um, for It's always nice to count with the students at least 1 to 2 rounds, and then let them have silence for the third round and do it on their own. Let them mess up, let them count on their own or not do it. It's their choice. It's always a great to do that with them. Um, of course, in our classes, when we're teaching, we may or may not have time to do the suggested amount of rounds, which is usually 7 to 9 or like 10 to 12 rounds of breathing. Um, Give yourself this grace of being a teacher of experimentation, but I would always say at least 3 to 4 rounds that you practice pranayama because there's that invitation and a deep like a they have to experience it. Try to at least have 3 to 4 rounds of the pranayama practice that you're offering. And then always count with them for the first 1 to 2. Of course, if you can give them the amount of time that is suggested of 3 minutes or whatever 9 rounds that you discover, that would be great. But it's not always allotted in public classes. I really want to say that our public classes are really like sample classes. They're really you can package them really well and make them like a whole thing. It'll usually be more of a workshop at that point, but public classes are like sampler classes, and it's always great to keep it pretty simple. Pretty simple. Really simple public classes go super duper far. Even the most advanced practitioner can appreciate a sun a sun B with a very deep intentional offering, you know? And then you round it out with pranayam and even a simple pranayam. Wow, you will go far. The silence does so much for people. The space giving does so much for them. And you really don't need to worry about offering the deepest of insights. Um, yeah, okay. Just chime in whenever you need, but I'm just gonna review this stuff. And then we did Shitali breathing, if you remember the taco tongue. Um, Inhale, seal the lips, and then exhale through the nose. This one's super good for digestive health, stress reduction, thermal regulation. Thermal regulation, Shitali breathing. But once again, look, calms the mind, enhances your vitality, balances pitta dosha, which makes sense. Our tongue is an extension of our digestive system. It's the first part of our digestive system, right? This is what prepares the food for the belly. We're using the tongue. So it's like just making these like connections together, like we're using the tongue. Ah, so it's good for digestive health. Yeah. Um, and balancing pitta dosha. Shitkari breathing. This is the one where you breathe out through teeth. Shh. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. Shh. Calming effect, thermal regulation. Once again, dental health. Supports digestion. It's in the mouth, right? So then balancing energy and focus. All of this calming lunar stuff. And then Brahmari breath. This one's the nice one with the B sound. And then you have almost, I think maybe Selena, you asked this, or somebody did, but there's a slight constriction of the throat. And to send the sound of the B up here. Mental clarity and calm once again. Vibrational healing and improved concentration. Stress, anxiety, and relief. Yeah. All of these anxiety relief. All of these. Um, and then Murcha pranayam.
Christine, you
Uh-huh.
brought up something right now. Um, you guys do it a lot in class, and when you were talking about, I don't think it was me, where you're saying to bring the breath up to the third eye. But I've never been someone who, like, when you guys talk about the lungs and how you can feel it, and I'm kind of like, what? Like, I'm so lost.
Mm,
And all I can do is, like, when you did do, like, when we were in meditation, you were like, let's feel, even if you can't feel it necessarily, envision it. So
mm,
when you said that, I was like, okay, that I can do. But then I started feeling it. Then I started feeling
mm.
my lung, like just just feeling the lung. So it was really interesting because I've never been big on that. And it's always been something that's been annoying for myself because I hear you guys talk about it and it sounds so beautiful, but I'm like, yeah, I don't understand. Like, where do you feel the pain? Where do you feel the jealousy? Where do you feel that, like, I'm like, what are you talking about? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm grateful that I'm starting to learn because yeah, that wasn't something, even I think it was Gabriella um that got so, last class or one of our classes, she was having some issues with her lungs or her ribs. She was talking about how her
Hmm.
rib
Yeah.
dislocates. And I was like, and then when you were talking about the feel, like her explaining it and what it feels like I was just, that's unbelievable. That was so cool of an experience to go deeper with her. But thank you for those taking us through that because it's not something, yeah, I'm not 100% there yet, but I'm starting to, like, that was my first experience feeling the lung when you said that today. So
Mm.
I had forgotten to say that. That was really cool.
Cool. You know,
Mm.
I I'm glad that you're bringing that up because I had a similar experience on my yoga journey, um, where I was just like, I just felt really blocked with the breath personally. Um, and I was like, we inhale and the lungs expand, and we exhale and the lungs decrease or whatever, like what the hell? But it's amazing how our visuals or like yeah, our visuals can open up even if you can't physically see it inside your brain, but like we tell you like just try to feel it. It can open up a granular sense of our breath. And I've never personally myself until Rinpoche, it was like Sri Rinpoche who taught that breath to me, inhaling and visualizing my left lung, and then exhaling and visualizing my right lung. And I never thought to break them up like that. Um, and then yeah, same with you. I was like, whoa, why I can actually kind of feel the activation of just my left side, right? And then if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's okay. And then the sensations of our emotions inside our body is very foreign to us, for sure. Um, like when beginning to take my first few yoga classes, and then they were much more healing oriented versus just straight physical asana. Um, it felt very impossible for me to understand that emotions actually lived in the body in ways. And this is a Chinese medicine orientation, actually, wherein in traditional Chinese medicine, which is also linked to Ayurveda, that certain organs in our body are associated with very specific emotions. Like, just for repetition, our lungs are the centers of grief. And so, usually, when people are going through a very alive grieving process, their breath is deeply impacted. It's hard for them to breathe. And then the way that that affects their whole being is like this very down, drowning feeling because you're just like, if you can't breathe, everything feels very heavy. It can even feel anxiety inducing. If you if you start to imagine what it feel like to not be able to breathe as much. So the lungs are the center of our grief. And then the liver in many ways is and you'll get to know this with your own journey. Take time. The liver is associated with anger. Um, the liver is associated with yeah, anger. And that has a lot to do with the action of the liver. It's kind of like one of the final and most major organs in our system that filters toxins for us. And if you've noticed somebody with liver cirrhosis or liver problems, maybe they have a drinking problem. Um, they're very short in temper. Very short in temper. Um, and there is almost everyone with a drinking problem looks the same, if you notice. Just the way that somebody with a smoking problem, they all kind of have the same look about them. It's the same sick feeling look, a puffiness. Maybe if they're going deep into liver problems, they look a little yellow. And this is much more than you need to know, but you will come to know it because you're on the path. Take your time. And so where would that manifest in my body? And as we get to know ourselves, like our our pranayama practices and our meditation practices and the time we spend practicing, even if it's asana or pranayama or just noticing, you will start to see where these emotions live inside your body, where there's a psychological hold. And you can send, I really want to say, like, best thing about pranayama is that it's like, I feel angry today. Intuitively, I feel it somewhere in the upper part of my gut, right? Where your liver is technically. But maybe I don't know it's in my liver, but I'm like, I feel it a little bit in my gut. And or even if it's not directly associated with the organ, like I feel it in my jaw because I'm just like, oh, you can send the breath there. You can literally, with your mind's eye, choose, okay, I'm gonna send the breath to my jaw and see how that makes me feel. And I know because I'm angry, anger associated to Agni. So these are the very basic things. Anger, Agni, I'm not going to do a right nostril breath. I'm going to do Chandra Bedana. I'm going to do inhale for 4, exhale for 8, even both nostrils, right? I'm going to cool myself down because anger is associated with heat. So the best thing that we can do to understand our body sensation and emotion and how that lives, and then how to use pranayama for tailoring to those emotions is start to notice which emotions bring more heat and then which emotions bring more cool. And if we want to balance it, we do the opposite. And if we want, and in general thinking, if if we are just needing mental clarity, right, left nostril breathing, breathing, just just noticing the breath. Yeah, makes a big difference. I'm excited. You're this next class
Yeah.
at one is gonna do a lot for us. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was, I was going to say thank you so much for going over that because I do have a book and I think is it Tai Chi or something where because I wanted to know what was going on. It doesn't seem like the doctors can really help me with my back issues. And it was both sides before, and now it's moving around. And it went into the lower back left side, but then it went to the hip and I knew it was like something more. And so they say that that's like financial, the book said it was more like financial stability when it's in the lower back. And I thought that that was so interesting. I just looked that up, but I'm going to go back to you bringing, you constantly saying mental clarity because I was praying this morning and I was thinking, I often go into these places where I'm feeling lost. I don't know how to move forward um, right now, and I feel like I need to be doing these breath work, the pranayama in the morning, um, and how important it is for me to do that for my mental clarity. And now that I know that, like you said, I can balance it. If I'm feeling too much heat, if I'm feeling too cold, you know, also with the nose, our nostrils and stuff. So I'm actually really excited because I've been feeling at times very powerless and confused
Mm,
because I've noticed and what I'm being told by God universe is that I'm in a new
mm,
place. I'm shedding old and I'm in the new timeline, but I don't know anything about it. And so I'm always in this place of fear. And I just left a place of fear, but it's kind of like the new, the fear of the new. And how am I supposed to do this? I
yeah.
don't know. So I'm trying to embrace it and have like a better attitude and just say, you know what? Yeah, I feel like that today, but the answers will come. And I'm praying. So I'm loving you really not knowing, but universe working through you and really pushing mental clarity, whether, yeah, hot, cold. Yeah, I'm very excited because I need to get back in the ball of things. So,
hmm And
anyways,
reiteration and repetition.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Happy to help.
Mhm.
Happy to help and illuminate like the deeper sides of things and how to keep it simple because we don't always know like am I going to remember all the different organs and which one is associated with? No, I'm not. But I do know what hot feels like and I do know what cold feels like. My doctor can't tell me how I feel inside my body. And the greatest tool that our yoga practice is giving us is how to be self-referential and you know for yourself what you need. And I'm literally just jumping for joy and just like I understand what it feels like to feel powerless because I just went through that with my back pain. They're like, nerve stuff. Muscle relaxers. Go get a massage. I don't know. Here's some ibuprofen. Just get out of my face kind of thing. Like I have a lot of grace for doctors. They do help us with the immediate symptom. But on the day to day, taking care is our responsibility. And that's scary when you realize that and you've stepped into your new timeline. And then you're like, so I get it. I have these practices. I've moved away from the stories that were holding me back. Now I'm seeing clarity, but there's like all this new stuff, you know? But we can always come back to our mental clarity through the breath, through having our moment of practice. What's making me hot? What's making me cold? Where is my emotion? Is that more hot? Is that more cold? Let's bring the opposite in. And then if I still don't feel clear, box breath or an even inhale, even exhale, and just stay with that, right? A sun A. A sun A to move some prana really quick. Yeah. I love that this is where this class is taking us because this discussion stuff really helps us embed it, embed it into our day to day. Um, and then I'm noticing the time. It's 12:03. I actually have to go to another meeting, but I really want to leave us here just like empowering you to take your practices where you want to go. And we'll see you at 1 p.m. Yeah? Much love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Take care of yourself. Mm-hmm.